Now, before I begin this video, I want to let each and every single one of you know that this video is in no way, shape, or form of requesting for a relationship whatsoever, but just how I feel about being single for this very long time. So I will begin. Well, I've been single for 15 years. Ironically, since the age of 15, way back in 1999. That was during the 10th grade, I believe. Yeah, the 10th grade. I've had 5 girlfriends in the past. My best girlfriend out of the 5 was the 5th one. The 5th one who I knew from 1996 to 1999 romantically. As a matter of fact, when I was with her, a lot of the people who I went to school with, middle school and high school, never knew that I was already involved. And out of all of my relationships with my past 5 girlfriends, she was probably the realest one too, because first off, there was real romance between us. We hugged each other, we kissed each other, there was a lot of affections between us. So that was the real one. This is gonna be like 18 and up here for mature audiences for this one. But we used to do a lot of fraudage. In case you don't know what fraudage is, that's let's say dry humping. But by the time we decided to finally lose our virginities together, where I almost lost my virginity to her, on the day that her parents and her brother was gone, when my mom dropped me off at her house, it was time that I felt that we had to do it finally. Unfortunately, I failed on my part. And after her parents and her brother came back home, we did not talk for the rest of the day, which resulted in a silent breakup of our relationship. Eventually, however, I did maintain a friendship with her for the next 2 years until her parents got divorced. The mother left with her 2 kids away from their stepdad. And I don't know the whereabouts of her now. I already know the whereabouts of her brother, who's now a licensed dentist in Florida. But I don't know about the sister. But I don't know, whatever happened to his sister, who I was in a relationship with. But it was fun while it lasted. I can't recall. I've had many crushes during my youth. As for rejections, I've been rejected by all of them. I know there are few that had crushes on me too, but at the time, being a teenager, I was not really that interested in them because they didn't look that good to me. But now as adults, since we've all grown up, they look a hell of a lot better than how they looked like back then. But also the majority of them are mothers now, they're married, so I give my respect to them and take my hat off for them. When I was rejected by those crushes, I never took it that seriously. They were never, heartbreaking at all. I have never had a dating experience in my life. I mean, for a guy like me who does not own a car, it's hard for me to go on a date or something. I never had that experience before. But I would love to experience it. Yes, I admit I'm a flirt, but only when a female starts it first, because I don't really flirt with random women out there. But as long as they started it first, then that's when I come in and join in the fun. In recent years, I never thought that I would become a little bit more attractive, now that I'm taking good care of myself and also grooming myself a little bit better, even though my hair does not look perfect right now, but I'm actually happy about that. For the crushes I had since reaching my adulthood, so far I had about 2 crushes. The second crush, I was rejected by. That one hurt me a lot. But the first and special crush I've had since my early 20s, despite mutual feelings were caught on, and also I always felt a possible relationship was going to happen between us. As of 2014, recently, she is now involved in a relationship, and it really broke my heart a lot. Even the 2010 rejection by my second crush hurt a lot too. But this one, I feel that it hurt me the most because of the fact that I felt I was always going to win, but it's now my biggest upset loss. I'm just lucky that I was never rejected by this crush. Of course I've been heartbroken, because if you've been rejected by a crush, or if you were involved in a relationship but now y'all end up breaking up all of a sudden, then it's bound to happen. My first crush heartbroke me the most. And even though I did take time to heal from it last month, but now it's kind of like but now my hurt feelings has kind of like resurrected again. And as a matter of fact, I'm now taking time to heal off from it some more. Already I've accepted the new relationship. The crush apologized to me. In the meantime, you know, it's best to maintain the friendship as always, especially if you have a history with that person. That's how I feel. I really don't believe in preferences. I am a critic of standards. Even though I will admit that I do have a few preferences, like, for example, I'm a big fan of the interracial relationships, because since I was 10 or 11 years old, I've always had a thing for, let's say I've always had a thing for Hispanic women, for example. I'm also a firm believer in interfaith relationships. For those that don't know what it is, let's say, for example, you are a Catholic dating a Jehovah's Witness, or that you are a Presbyterian in a relationship with a Hindi, or let's say that if you are an agnostic dating a Baptist. That's examples of interfaith relationships. I've always believed that. As for standards, there are women out there who would rather have men based it on their looks, if they have higher social status. This person made a video and said that broke men do not deserve relationships, which I feel was offensive to me. Well, I basically describe myself as a very caring, very mensch man. Even though I may not talk a lot, I am bound to be shy, which is probably the reason why it's hard for me to approach women in public. And in the meantime, I'm also the kind of person who I'm not a love at first sight type of guy. I start off with a friendship with a female first. And once the platonic level hits, and especially when mutual feelings start to kick in, then that's when I take my chance. Even though it's very risky, at the same time, I'm very shy with it. But even if you get rejected, it's bound to happen. Also, I will admit that I may not look like I'm fresh out of the GQ magazine. I don't have a place of my own. I don't own a car because I still take public transportation. But at the same time, as long as a female can accentuate the positives about me and hide the negatives, then everything is good. Because I'm all about true love. I'm all about true love. You don't have to be a type to someone. If you like that person, you like that person. Even if they were missing a leg or an arm, you can still love that person for who they are. Be romantically involved with them. Now, it's a very taboo question. And throughout the years, I've been asked by people about that. And I even told a lot of folks by private. But I will have to come out and admit that at 30 years old, I still am one. But to be honest, excuse me, I'm a firm believer, 90%, with saving your virginity and losing it to a special someone in your life. And I know based on some people's beliefs, they're going to save it until they get married, which is fine too. And I believe in 10% in losing it with someone random. What I mean is, there are some folks out there who will end up spending money to a sex worker out there, and some out there who are lucky enough to have friends with benefits. Even if those particular friends are kept secret and they give it to them just, one time only. I don't know. Now, I don't have any friends with benefits. If I did, I would have lost a long time ago. Well, starting from my late teens after my last girlfriend to my mid 20s, from before it was because I wanted to reach the peak of my life, like getting my degrees, having a good paying job with making a great salary, getting a place of my own car and whatnot. Back then, I used to be full of freedom. It used to feel like freedom, excuse me, and just, free that I could do anything I want. But as of now, in my age, it starts to become very frustrating and depressing. Especially after my longtime crush was now taken, it's now gotten even more to that. Plus, a lot of my friends lately this year, especially in the past few months, they've been dating, they've been involved in relationships, they've few have gotten married, and my own mom, at 62 years old, is now currently dating. So I'm like, wow, everybody's getting involved except me, who I know personally, of course, and it hurts, really. If I was involved now, I've been inspired by one of my best friends who just became a father not too long ago, like 2 years ago, excuse me. And when I played with his child, it also inspired me to hopefully become a father in the future, because I really, have been really cool with children. As a matter of fact, as long as my mom is still alive, I hope that she lives to finally witness of being a grandmother. So if I ever get involved in the future, not only that I look forward to getting married, but also starting a family of my own, because I feel it's time. And also, I always consider myself a one-woman man. I'm never jealous or insecure. And also, I will never be abusive or whatnot, because my father was that way towards my mom. Everything that I heard of the past, what my dad did to my mom, even though I was a child, even though I was a baby when it happened, excuse me, and my mom was still pregnant with me at the time when the abusiveness happened, I will never emulate what my father did. But I hope in the future that a relationship can happen towards me. And I know some of my friends have told me that love will come soon, love will come someday, that someday someone will walk into your life and just, be there for you. But I hope that a relationship will happen, and it's hard, but it's life.